Hello and welcome to this special three-part adventure that is going to happen over three successive weeks. But our first session is taking place during our Star Wars Special Edition weekend here on the Gauntlet, where a number of people are running Star Wars using various different systems. This is Star Wars Spark of Hope. And I'll talk about what that means in just a moment. My name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and we are using a game system that I designed. We're using Hearts of Wulin to play this out. You're going to hear me talk a little bit about the setup now. We do what we call cats, and then that's going to be followed by a little bit of a safety discussion, and then we will get to characters. And at that point, I'll screen share the keeper if anyone's watching this on video, so you can see what we're working from. So the concept that we're playing is we are playing a new version of episode 9. We are stepping from the end of episode 8, The Last Jedi, and we're playing with a set of pre-gen characters that the players are going to get to tweak. And we're using Hearts of Wulin to do that. So that's a very basic thing. This is another version of that last story. Our approach is we're doing this over 3 sessions. So this is a kind of the first act setup session today. And we're going to be aiming towards kind of a collaborative discovery, collaborative play. I have some situations, some things I'm going to throw out there, but I'm going to try and let the players choose what themes they want to lean into or where we go or situations, give you some check-in points for those. While this is going to echo a movie structure, movies have a very different flow from role-play sessions. We're going to kind of try to feel cinematic and so on, but it may be different. We're certainly not going to have the charted hero's journey in the course of this. We're going to go with this. We're going to see how our beats and our structure are going to work. There are some places, especially when we get towards the end, where I put a hard frame to kind of get us to a conclusion for a session or a conclusion for the series, so on. One of the things we'll probably do is we're going to have some cutaways to other places, cutaways to the villains, whatever. We'll see what they're up to. Some of that will be me narrating, but some of that may be hard moves where I force you to narrate what's going on with the villains. But we'll see how that goes. In our cats discussion next, we would say talk about tone, but I think we know Star Wars tone. We're familiar with it. We're playing in that very classic tradition. The bigger question is what is canon, and I know I've talked to the players about this in the email, but I want to go over this. Films 1 through 8 are canon. I haven't watched or read anything else. I know there's a ton of brilliant TV shows and series and things out there, Mandalorian, Clone Wars, and so on. I don't know them. The only thing I've read outside of it is Kieran Gillen's brilliant work on the Darth Vader comics, which are really good, like really good. If you have a Marvel Unlimited subscription, I highly recommend reading those. That being said, as players, you're welcome to bring in things, other canon from other Star Wars games or series or things like that. We'll kind of check in on that, but you're welcome to do that. You may have to give me the context of those things. I know a little bit by osmosis, but not a lot. But certainly we are open to those kinds of things. So with that, our last step is our safety tools. This CATS discussion kind of sets the baseline, and then we have our lines and veils, which I know the players have gone through already and done some marking up on that, but they can continue to do that throughout the process. It is a living document. We have some things that we right now have hard lines on. We have hard lines on harm to animals, harm to children, homophobia, sexual assault, torture by the PCs, and midichlorians. So those are hard lines on things we're not going to mention or deal with or consider in the course of this. There are veils. Veils meaning that if it's something that would pop up, that it would be a kind of a fade to black moment, or we mention it but elide it off screen. We don't have any veils set yet, but that certainly could come up. We're going to check in at the beginning of each session to make sure. We have a number of things that are ask first, meaning that we're going to check in with the players before we any of us introduce that as a thing in play. And that includes bullying, epidemics, mind control, PC betrayal, real world racism, slavery, and suicide. So those are our ask first topics. Again, a living document that we build from. The next tool that we use is the X card. We have the X card in play to mark out when we hit material that we find objectionable, problematic, wildly off tone. These are all reasons to mark something with an X card. And you can say, I want to X card that, or you can do the gesture to mark that out. You don't have to justify your decision. The only thing we might ask is like, where do we need to kind of roll back to get to that? With X card too, X card is a good place if we've maybe started to head towards a line or towards to ask first and we haven't checked in, using the X card to maybe give us a heads up that we are heading into territory that we might want to stop and check in on. That's a good place to do that. It's also if something happens a couple of times, and the first couple of times you're like, I'm okay with that, and then you're not, it is legit to X card it later. You always have the right to do that. Lastly, our last safety tool is open door, meaning that should you need to step away, you're welcome to step away. You don't have to give us a justification, doesn't have to give us a reason. If you need to leave, you can do that. It'd be great if you could tell us, like in the chat, that I'm going to be right back or not back, but you're also not required to do that. Also with that, if you discover between sessions that this is not the game for you, you're also welcome to just say thank you much, but you should always have the right to do that. You should never feel obliged to play a game that you're not enjoying. That is really important. So with those things in play and on the table, let's go through and confirm what everyone has chosen. I'm going to screen share this at this point. Andish, you are playing Ray, right? Okay.
Yes.
Stephen, you are playing Rose Tico. Okay. Cisco, you are doing Poe Dameron. And Rod, you are doing Leia.
Yes.
So there isn't much to the character creation process right now. You'll set those stat numbers, and then you're going to pick one of those three roles. We've got those as a drop down, and we'll make some choices on that. And I'm leaving the entanglement a little open, but I want to talk with you about what an entanglement might mean in the context of this Star Wars game. And then we'll set some bonds. So let me come back to Andish to Ray. What do you think is the dominant element? What is the element that Ray is using for conflicts? What have you chosen for that?
I think it has to be fire.
Okay.
I just realized that me and Steven had picked exactly the same stats for Ray and Rose. That's
I'll
interesting.
update mine. Yeah, I'll fix that.
No. It's not a problem. It was just interesting. It's not. I don't think that you need to change anything.
So we have entanglements in standard Hearts of Wulin. I've left it open because I want you to think about how this might get played out. In standard Hearts of Wulin, an entanglement is a relationship that you have with another person that is complicated by your relationship with a third person. So there are a number of ways to think about it. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, but it can be about the characters' interactions being overshadowed, and that can be an NPC in there. For example, maybe Rey's interaction with Leia is complicated by the memory of Luke. That's a particular kind of entanglement that you could deal with. There's some history from the first couple of movies that you can play with, and I'll let you think about that. So you'll choose under bonds, you'll choose 2 of the other PCs to, don't have to be with the entanglements, that's sort of a leftover from Hearts of Wulin. You'll choose 2 of the other PCs to have a bond with. A bond is a spendable resource, and you can choose that as we go along here. You have 1 set roll move, or sorry, 1 set move. For example, in the case of Rey, we've got what do you know about the Force as a move they have, and then all these other wonderful moves, these playbook moves, you don't have to pick them now. You can pick them as we go along. You're going to have 2 of them. You don't have to choose until you're like, okay, I want to use this right now. So that is up to you. But Adish, what are you thinking about for Rey in terms of the role? Like, what's important to you? What are you leaning towards of that?
I rewatched part of episode 8 just before this. I didn't quite finish because things got in the way, and I'm leaning toward. I looked at the moves before. I don't have the text right now, but I think Grey Jedi is the one I'm leaning towards. I have to check the text. Yeah, because I really like that Luke and Yoda are setting her up to like develop a new relationship with the Force, kind of. Luke more adversarially, and Yoda like, yeah, she's one of the ones who's going to go beyond what we did. So I think Grey Jedi fits for that.
Excellent. I think that that is perfect. So that gives you a bunch of inner conflict proof from the use the Force move, and you've got the cool Force powers there, which is fun. All right, I think that gives us a sense of that. Let's come to Stephen. Stephen, what are you setting as Rose Tico's sort of driving element, conflict element?
So I think it's going to be the thing that seems to have driven Rose the most throughout the movies was the loss of her sister.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to select the move under role of Survivor Sister, and I think the focus there is just the I don't want to lose any more people, and we're fighting for a just cause, so we have to make sure that the cost was worth it.
Excellent. I think that's a good way to read how she works. And you chose wood as your sort of defining element then?
I think that represents her curiosity going forward with, this kind of, she's not an experienced rebellion person. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of the other characters have a ton of confidence.
Okay.
Right? They know what they're doing. Yeah.
I like that. All right, so that gives us a good sense of that. Let's next come to Cisco and Poe. What did you choose for Poe's central element for the element that drives him?
I'm gonna switch it. I think I'm gonna make it Earth.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Because of the presence thing. I know that there was like there was like kind of his his fall from grace in episode 8.
Mhm.
But I like the idea that he's like working toward being a leader of the rebellion now, and he's going to lead some people.
That is an arc. And what did you choose for your role move?
I chose would-be scoundrel. As long as you interact with someone, you hold their attention, you may lead them into or away from a nearby location. I know we're not playing in episode 9, but I really love in episode 9 that planet that they land on, and they kind of have to like get around the planet and make some contacts.
Oh,
So that sounds.
I
that
haven't
sounds-
seen episode 9, so I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, they do that.
Okay, they go to a planet.
Yeah, but that just sounds like a fun possibility. So I'll take that.
Awesome. All right, I think that gives a good sense. And then last but not least, we have Rod with Leia. Rod, what did you choose for Leia's sort of primary element, the conflict element?
I think it's going to be water.
Okay,
Yeah, awareness, wisdom, flexibility.
that certainly makes sense. Feels right for Leia. And then what have you chosen for your role move?
So I think it's going to be reluctant Skywalker.
Nice.
Yeah, finally accepting the family's connection to the Force.
Excellent. We saw a little bit at 8, but I like the idea of coming back with that as an important thing. Certainly, in the original trilogy, there's suggestion from Yoda that Leia is as important as Luke in that. And then you've got the great study question option there. So that gives us a sense of who everyone is, what everything is like for character-wise. So just to tell you, I've put a list of themes. They're on a tab there. You're welcome to look at those if you need to have a sense of maybe like what you'd like to bring up during play. The ways that collaboration are going to work in here is I'm going to set up questions which you'll be allowed to get to answer, but maybe establish important plot points as we go along. But the other option you have is we have the study move in Hearts of Wulin, which allows you to ask questions about the situation or allows you to make a declaration. And those declarations will change the direction of things. So that is out there as a possibility. All right. Are there any questions before we get started? Okay. All right. So now I am going to pause the recording so I can do the crawl, and then we're going to go into our first scene here. So let me pause this. So I will put a Dropbox link. So if people really want to watch the crawl video, we will have that available in the video link there. So we're going to take up on the planet of Chalakta. All right. And we've got a visual of a massive vehicle trundling along, big, absurdly large with a big, kind of trailer on it. We see there are clearly some guards there. They're not stormtroopers or Imperials, but they're clearly local, but with that sort of echoing the Imperial fashion to make them look a little more fascist than they are. So I'm going to go around. Andish, what is the scenery for this planet? What is the set that they've got here that we see this big vehicle moving through?
So is this anywhere on the planet, or is it like in an urban setting, or
You tell me.
decide that?
Yeah, anywhere you want.
Yeah, but I think it's like the outskirts of a city. There are plenty of low buildings. think like sandstone, something like that. It's fairly dry, but there are plenty of trees, like specks of green. It's
Mhm.
not it's not a desert, but it's an arid area.
So some buildings, some urban, we get that sort of weird design that we sometimes see with Star Wars architecture. We've got a cloud of dust being kicked up by this thing as it is moving along. Uh, Stephen, what's the like weather or fauna effect? Whenever we were in a Star Wars scene like this, we're always got to see something somewhat unusual, either plant life or animal life or weather going on. What do we see in the scene as this thing is moving along?
Yeah, I think we see this big transport is moving along, and there's probably tracks that, where it's gone this way before. And we see this galloping herd of animals come through after the big transport has passed through. And these are rontos, which are sort of like elephants with a giraffe neck, right? So
See a pack of them pass through. The camera kind of lingers on that.
and I think most of the time in the movies and stuff, we see adults. This has, children, this has babies and that kind of stuff. This is obviously, a family unit herd kind of thing.
Nice. Cisco, now this truck is not alone as it's rolling along, but it has some kind of escort with it. Hover bikes or flyers or riding beasts or something like that. What does the escort look like here for this?
Oh, the escort looks unusual. There are these ships called headhunters that look like X-wings, but instead of like the 2 wings, they just have like the regular wings. But these look like headhunters that have been fused. So like the cockpit and the backside looks like it's been fused from different like junk ships. And so like even one of them has like a TIE fighter, like the bubble part of it, but like wings in the back. It's a very unusual escort.
Yeah, so to kind of a makeshift put together, we're still not sure exactly who these people are, but we see these flyers going along. And Rod, there has to be a big threat that we can see. Some kind of special gun or a monster or a special troops. What is it we see that we know means that this transport is being protected by something dangerous?
I think maybe there's like a multi-turreted gun on the top of the vehicle that's
Absolutely.
constantly swiveling in vigilance to its surrounding.
It is moving along, trundling along, and given what we're seeing, with the thing, we know that you are here to intercept and get what is in that truck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of come around and I'm going to kind of follow that order that's on the character keeper. But if somebody has a good idea about wanting to suggest something like that, we'll swap out of character keeper order. So Ray, when we come in with the camera, where do we see you in relation to this? Are you on a fixed position? Are you on a vehicle? Where are you at?
I think Ray is on some kind of speeder bike,
Okay.
but not like the ones in Return of the Jedi, but some smaller, like shorter version. It's a civilian bike, kind of like a fuse of that, and the thing she uses on Jakku.
Okay.
Short, high thing. I don't
So do you think you're seating in position, or are you pacing it? Where do we see you?
I think she's waiting like in an alley, and she's waiting for it to pass by so she can sweep up behind it.
All right. And where are you, Rose?
Is it okay if I narrate that there's like a little contingent of rebel soldiers?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Rose, we see, as the camera kind of pans down that alleyway, we see different soldiers who are kind of dressed in like robes and rags, but have like, as we zoom by, we can see that they're kind of talking into microphones, and they're kind of set up at a particular point. And we see kind of a leader kind of touch the mic and give orders, and then we zoom in on Rose, and Rose is kind of sitting there looking real nervous and very obvious about what she's doing. And she's like, she's got another soldier with her, another rebel soldier with her, but is like kind of leaning over, I don't know what to do, what do you think? And yeah.
Perfect. So we kind of get that shot. Poe, what are you doing to bring this vehicle to a stop? Like, have you set something up, or do we see a trap trigger, or what do you think we're seeing here? You are muted.
Yeah, we've totally set something up. We have geared up BB-8 so that on like the head part of BB-8, like it's gonna like pop out, and he's gonna have like kind of like helicopter blades come out. And the plan is for me to hold on to BB-8 and ride him as he helicopters me down onto this moving vehicle, because of course Poe.
Perfect. We'll come back and we'll have that be the initial sort of action that we resolve in a second. Leia, where are you? Where do we see you? And when the finally camera kind of comes to show us that you're active and on the scene.
I think I'll be with some of the soldiers, and then someone saying, you shouldn't be here, General. And I'll be replying, I've spent enough time on the bridge. I need to be on the ground.
Nice. I think maybe we see you look over and you can see Rose,
Right.
maybe a little bit hesitant, so we can see you, get a sense of that. And then the camera comes back, the speeding along truck. We get that sort of vibrating shot of the camera. We can see Rey fall in behind, and Poe, you are going to attempt to fly in and smash your way to take controls. Is that what I'm hearing?
That is exactly what's happening, and I think we get a shot of Poe on like the highest building in the city, and he's up there with BB-8, and he's sort of like, he's looking through his like Star Wars, binoculars, and he's like, all right, buddy, they're coming. Yeah, okay, let's go. And he's like, putting everything in his backpack, and he's getting it ready. He's like, what do you mean? What are you gonna get cold feet on me now? Like, this isn't the time for you to change your mind. And like he starts rolling, and like Poe has to put like his foot on him, and he's like, no man, let's go. And he's like, and he like slowly rolls him off the building, and like Poe jumps after him and like grabs him in midair. And so here we go.
Perfect. So let's see how well this goes for Poe as you in. This is overcome. What do you want to roll this with?
Oh, this is pretty I don't know.
Keep in mind, early on, you have 2 bonds. You'll have those written in to bond with 2 other characters, which you can spend to boost your roll after you roll. So you're fine. You've got this.
Yeah, I'm fine. Probably passion.
Okay.
And creativity. This seems pretty out there.
Then let's have you roll.
All right. All right, here we go. 8.
So that is an 8. So is it that you're landing on the windshield, or you're trying to get in through the driver's side window? What do you think?
I think maybe the plan was for me to land on top of this thing where there's a panel, and maybe throw like a stun grenade or like a smoke grenade of some kind. Yeah.
So you are on the vehicle, but you go to get that hatch open, and it's not opening. It's not giving for you to drop that grenade in. But you're on there and you're in position. Ray, what are you doing?
Ray is speeding up behind this vehicle, and then she like stands up on the speeder and leaps up as she pulls out her lightsaber and ignites it, and jumps up onto the top, and she's going to try to disable this gun tower.
All right. So I think the first thing is the challenge of you getting up onto this vehicle to see how well you can do that. So let's have you roll. What do you want to roll that overcome with?
Yeah, I think I'm going to roll with water. It feels like awareness, like knowing the speed and the things.
Absolutely.
So let me see if this works. I have my little dice cam.
Yeah.
Probably need to. Where it is. Oh, that's bad. That's a 4.
Oh
With my
no.
+1.
So you will leap up, and you like it speeds up when Poe hits it, and so it's just off a little bit, and you are hanging on the back of this. You didn't even have a chance to kind of get your lightsaber out, and you're hanging on the back of this. And I think we see that turret thing spin around, and we can hear it powering up. Rose, what are you doing? The situation has gotten a little hairy, and we've still got those scrappy speeders around as well. So what do you want to do?
So I think that this is our job given to us was to keep the speeders off of the main attack force in order to let them get in, get the item, and get out. So basically, I think, I think we see all the speeders as the attack has started, they kind of do the little U-turn and they start headed back.
Okay.
And that's whenever we see the soldier next to Rose just rips off real confidently, rips off that shawl or that robe and comes out firing. And Rose is like, shocked and like, oh, okay. And, starts firing and, missing and that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
So you're dealing with one of the sort of the 2 troop sets that are kind of coming back. So that is deal with troops. So what do you want to roll that with?
So deal with, let's see, this is kind of,
oh, actually you roll with your conflict element.
Oh, I
Yeah.
haven't set a conflict element.
Oh, so what do you think is your element that like when you go to fight, which is the dominant one?
So my conflict element in this case, it seems like she's not really confident at this point, so I would say that would probably be metal.
Okay.
Because she's not in control or calculating or anything like that. So,
all right.
Yeah. Something looks weird about that. Oh no, so that's a 6.
That is a 6. Now you could spend a bond if you wanted to bump that to a 7.
So let's spend a bond. I have I set up a bond right now with Ray, and you said this should be between two characters. And I think Ray's strong relationship with Finn and the adventures that they've been through may impact my budding romance and interest in Finn.
Okay, so you've kind of got that strong connection, that worry. I don't necessarily want to embarrass yourself in front of her. So tell me what that looks like when your squad takes out the portion of these speeders.
Yes, so I think that, as I said, Rose kind of steps out. She's very hesitant, and then looks over her shoulder and sees Ray going after this big turret. Like we're after these little guys on speeders, and Ray's after this big turret. And we see her kind of straighten up a little bit, and she then starts shooting, but she also starts shouting encouragement to the rest of the troops. And we see that they kind of form their position and kind of line up behind cover and start setting down a what do you call that, a crosshairs, basically, where there's a firing line that keeps this troop division off of the main vehicle.
Yeah, so they're flying back, trying to provide cover, and then there's this hail of fire that goes across, and we see the explosion effect, and one of them flies through the explosion, and we see that side of the speeders taken care of. Leia, what is your group doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, I think when I see Ray and Poe having some difficulties, I'm just gonna jump on a speeder and look at the others and say, "Go, go, go!" And I'm gonna head straight for along with Rose and so support that.
So is your intent to get up and get onto the vehicle, or do you want to take care of the speeders, or do you want to do something else? What's your goal here?
I think I'm gonna stay with the soldiers until I see Ray. If I see Ray really having trouble, because I know she's having some trouble now.
Okay.
But if I see it really getting bad, then I'm gonna go on the vehicle.
So mechanically, what we can do is you're supporting. If you want to make a roll on this, with a chance to create a bond there, that's a good way to handle that. Do you want to try that?
Sure.
Okay. What do you want to roll that comfort and support with?
Metal control calculation.
Okay.
Oh, I should probably use dice.
Oh.
All right. A 7.
7. So what this is that we check in with Ray and make sure it's okay, and you'll essentially write down that you have a bond with Ray, and later on you can spend that to help them out, because you can always spend a bond you have with somebody to help them, or you can spend any bond that you have to help yourself. So how do we see you supporting? Like, what do we see on screen that shows us that's your intent and that's what you're doing?
Can I say we have a some kind of a comm link between myself and Ray?
Absolutely.
Oh no. Can we say I send it out telepathically?
Absolutely. What are you saying to Ray? The first time we're going to see on screen that you embrace these powers.
Oh, focus. Remember your training.
Nice. Poe, this isn't opening up. There's a little bit of a I told you so from BB-88 who's landed. The vehicles are going, but you see the speeder bikes come back. One of the groups is kind of flying and getting them between them and some of the soldiers. The other group has been hit by the crossfire. What are you doing?
So Leia is assisting Ray, but is Ray still in danger?
Oh, Ray, you probably even can't even see Ray from where you're at. But she was supposed to take out the turret, but that
So
hasn't
I didn't
happened.
see her be in peril?
Yeah, you're up on the front, trying to get to the driver's thing. She's on the far
Okay.
back of the truck, clambering up.
All right, sounds good. I think here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna hear BB-8 go like, and I know it's not opening up. And he's gonna have like a little hatch open up, and a little like welding tool is gonna come out. And he's like, "Oh, buddy, I knew you had me. I'm gonna take a move here. I'm
Okay.
gonna take happy beeps here. Your droid friend always has your back. Once per session, you can flashback to some preparation, interference, or negotiation he's done on your behalf." So he comes equipped with a welding tool that's gonna open this up.
Perfect. So let's have you roll.
All right. And I pick my element and roll.
Yeah.
Okay. This also seems maybe awareness.
Yeah.
Let's roll with water. Okay. Oh no, it's a 6.
It's a 6. Do you want to spend a bond?
The bonds are once per session or once per game.
You have to refresh them through comfort and
that's
supports to
right.
get them back.
That's right. Yeah, I'm gonna be supporting a droid later. Yeah, I have a bond with BB-8. That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm writing in BB-8, and now it's at 0. Right.
So they will pop open that hatch.
Nice.
But I think that there's a little bit of smoke in your eyes there. And you can see the driver and the shotgun rider and so on. What are you doing? Are you dropping down in? Or are you dropping the stun grenade in there?
Yeah, I think it flies open, right? And like we're met immediately with like a shot, and we both go like, "Whoa!" Yeah, they're like shooting, and I'm reaching in my backpack as I'm talking to BB-8, and I'm like, "No, this doesn't make up for the fact that you almost chickened out on me," and like we're gonna throw the grenade in as BB-8 goes like,
You roll deal with troops.
"All right, let's deal with some troops." This definitely means probably focus as
You
I'm
always
avoiding
roll with your
shots.
conflict element
Oh,
for the
that's right.
fighting.
That's right. Okay, and I get to pick my conflict element?
You should set it now.
Okay.
Whatever you decide is sort of the element that's going to drive whenever you duel or deal with troops. My
I'm a
suggestion
pilot.
would always be your highest element, but
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I'm a pilot, so focus makes sense for Earth. Can I
okay.
write it in? Because it's not, I don't think it's letting me write it in.
There you go. Yeah.
My problem was that the color of the text
Oh,
was set to white.
that's there. There's an issue. Thank you. All right, so let's have you roll with Earth.
All right, let's do it. Seven.
So you will throw that in there. We'll see that stun grenade go off. We see them both like kind of hit against the windows, and there's that flash and more smoke coming out. And now we can probably see the vehicle start to do that like slip and turn and shake. Ray, you're hanging on the back of this, and now the vehicle is starting to pitch back and forth. You hear Leia's words. What do you want to do?
We didn't really train for this, did we? And she, but she's going to try to clamber up and dodge any blasts from the tower as she approaches it.
All right. So I think this is overcome to be able to get yourself safely in position. Of course, the cost being, marquee elements taking wounds or a bad position. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. And I think at this point, does this count as conflict, or is it now it's overcome? So then I can choose anything, right? Yeah, I think it's Ooh. Yeah, I think it's still water.
Okay.
It's being aware of the environment and that sort of thing. Let's see if the dice like this better. Oh boy, that's snake eyes.
That
Oh,
is
no.
sick. Your dice do not like you. So
Nope.
I think you get up there um, and are moving towards it, but you take a hit. Where do you get hit?
Oof. I think like the shoulder, like a blast, singes me. Probably not a full-on hit if it's like a tower that's supposed to take down vehicles, but you know,
Glancing blow.
I get knocked down.
I think it forces you to like you have to drop down to the top of this to get a little bit of cover because it can't quite angle down. So you need to mark an element.
Yeah, let's. Let's see.
You can choose.
Think I'm angry at this point, so I'll mark wood.
And I think that's the point at which we also cut to the cockpit, yeah, I'm going to call it cockpit of this vehicle, and we see that driver kind of slump, and we see that foot go down on the accelerator, and the vehicle speeds up. We can see that red line kind of rising up. Rose, from your position, you see this. We've got that other speeder group, but you see that Ray is kind of pinned down by this turret fire.
And I think that so Rose tells all the rest of everyone we really need to basically tells the others, I think actually like taps one of the nearby soldiers on the shoulder and kind of points over, indicating that, hey, we need to help out Ray. Things aren't going great. And leaves one contingent of the soldiers to keep the speeder bikes, the rest of the troops pinned down. And then, says, we have to do whatever it takes to get Ray, up onto that, because otherwise that big turret's just going to take us out. And, we got to do it now. Let's see. And I'm going to use That's How We're Going to Win, which is kind of rallying a cause.
Okay.
Does
Yeah,
that sound good?
absolutely.
I'm gonna-
Yeah. What do you want to roll that with?
I'm going to do that with fire, which is passion. That's a 9.
That is a 9. So I think it does kind of draw the attention of the other speeder group that's kind of moving, racing over this thing. But Ray, you will see concentrated fire from that troop position, and where the turret was maybe kind of trying to get you, it has to swivel over to fire. We see parts of masonry from the building around kind of shattering, giving you a little bit of breathing room there. Leia, what do you want to do?
So I was actually heading towards Ray, but I actually changed direction because I see that that Rose is going with soldiers, and I'm just gonna put my faith in her. I'm gonna stay behind with these soldiers and try to take out the escorts.
Okay. Deal with troop to take out this other group of speeder bikes who are kind of spinning around. They're firing. One of them is trying to get up to get it at Ray because they have a better shot at her than the turret does.
The question, did the headhunters that Cisco had described, are they flying or are they closer to ground level?
I imagine that they are like ground effect vehicles. They can probably go up maybe 10, 12 feet, but they're kind of scrap things.
Okay.
So they can't go too high.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, the lightsaber comes out.
What color is Leia's lightsaber?
So it's gonna be blue, but it's gonna be a lighter shade of blue than we've
Okay.
seen before. Um,
Absolutely. Roll deal with troops.
that's a conflict move,
Yep.
and I think we're gonna see also that she hasn't handled this in some time, her lightsaber, and let's see how she rolls. An 8.
An 8. So what do we see on screen? What happens? You take this group out, but what do we see?
She has her hands under control, and she reaches, and you see her touch a blaster by her side, and then she moves to a little bit to the left and grabs the lightsaber, and that comes out. And she's gonna try to start deflecting, just to disrupt them, and I think something she's learned from Luke's sacrifice in episode 8, that how much power a symbol has, like a lightsaber. So hopefully that will also throw them off.
Yeah, like when that comes out and you first like they fire and you deflect it back and catch one of them goes off, we can see on the other pilots like the look on their face as they kind of weave away. They don't want to come close to this thing. I imagine we see kind of the ride there is echoing a little bit of you on the speeder bikes in Return of the Jedi as well, but you'll clear them off. Let's come back to Poe. Poe speeding along, accelerating. You're probably now aware that Rey is up on top of this thing just because of the fire. You see some of the speeder bikes get taken out, but this vehicle is still going. What are you doing, Poe?
Oh man, we have gone from the frying pan into the fire. So I think this is a good time to study my surroundings.
Okay. What do you want to roll that with?
Let's roll it with water, which is awareness, right?
Sure.
All right. I rolled a 5.
You rolled a 5. So you're going to get one hold to ask a question or make a declaration, but I'm going to throw a cost at you after you've told me what you're doing.
Okay. So these this like entourage of speeders that are protecting the truck can't go on water, and we're coming up onto a bridge that conveniently has a vessel underneath it. And if I can just pilot this thing just right, we can end this thing by me ramping it off onto this vessel. But of course, it has to be just right.
Okay. So we'll say that you're getting yourself into position to do that. But as you kind of stand up, I think that's the point at which the last speeder bike swings by and hits you, and now you're hanging onto the speeder bike. There's nobody driving the truck. They're unconscious. This thing is heading towards the bridge. You've grabbed onto this last speeder bike that was trying to get away from Leia's lightsaber. But there's that bridge up ahead. Sound good?
Gosh, yeah. Is there still a chance that I can jump back onto this thing?
We'll see in a moment, won't we?
Okay, sounds good.
Rey, they've drawn off the turret fire. Rose has got that covered. Leia has stripped out some of the fighters that are going along, but we've now got the situation that there is no driver. This thing is accelerating, and Poe, who might have been able to get in there and stop it, is hanging desperately on to the last speeder. What do you do?
Yeah, I think I'm going to pick Embrace the Force now.
Okay.
and manifest a new force ability. So I think because Ray is lying flat on top of this truck, and I think she reaches out to sense like the controls, the electrical systems, power systems inside the truck, and use them to try to make it stop.
Okay.
Basically, it's trying
Slam.
to,
Yeah. Slam on the brakes.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Then let's have you. So you're going to manifest a new force ability. It's going to work. You need to mark an element.
Ooh.
What do you want to mark?
Does this have to be related to what I'm doing, or is it just?
It's basically it's marking kind of your wounds. It means it's an element that you don't get to roll with until you clear it.
Yeah. I think I'll mark Earth. I feel like she needs to focus, and she's kind of she doesn't care what happens right now. It's just we need this thing to stop. She doesn't care about anything else.
And what tells us, like what on screen tells us that you are really reaching into the force to do this?
We see her grimace, like she's really putting a lot of effort into this, and I think there's like purple force lightning crackling around her hands where she's gripping onto the truck, and there's like it leaves scorch marks on the metal.
So I think what we see is we see the truck, which was hurtling along. See that sparks. We see it slow. That the angle gets more directed towards the off bridge landing, and it's not going to be just going 1,000 miles an hour. It is slowing for a little more control. We can tell that is happening. Rose, what are you doing?
So the intent here, our mission is to go in and get something off this transport. Is that right?
Yeah.
Do we know what?
We'll find out when you get it open.
Okay. So we need to see about getting the transport open next, right? And I think since we kind of closed in to try and help Ray resolve what was going on with the turret, I think that the group that Rose is with is going to fall back, and she's going to see if she can't help open this transport before it hits that river.
Okay. Are you taking the speeder bike up to physically get up to it?
So is it speed going really fast, or is this something that we couldn't just run up to?
I think it's probably still a little bit fast for running up to.
So in that case, in my mind, the way I pictured it was that it was trundling along a little bit slower than that. So if it's still going too fast for us to get up to, I think that she needs to pivot and start, probably go back to keeping the, it was Poe who just got taken off by a speeder bike. Is that right? She's gonna, and there's a Imperial troop on the speeder bike. Is that as well?
Who's shocked that one of these local troops that are on there.
Yeah. So she's going to start trying to lay down fire, not trying to hit that speeder bike, but at least trying to distract the driver so that Poe has a chance to gain control.
Deal with troops.
Okay. So that's a 5.
Okay. So I think that Poe, you are going to have to mark an element.
Okay.
As it does distract, but I think it bangs Poe into the side of this vehicle that's still trundling along, and you're kind of caught between it. The driver is doing that thing where he's trying to brush you off the side of it as that's happening.
I think I'll recall Return of the Jedi and scream at Rose and be like, a little higher, a little higher.
Leia, you've kind of taken out the speeders. There's just the one left. The vehicle, the big truck, is slowing down, heading for kind of a more precise landing off that bridge onto that vessel. But Poe is still in danger and is still moving at a clip. What do you want to do?
Do I see Ray?
Yeah, I think you would definitely see Ray still kind of up on top of the thing there.
I'm gonna try to use the force to turn the barrels of the turret upward so that she has a clear path to it.
Okay. So let's do that as a deal with troops here. I think you're in a good enough position to do that.
And I put the speeder to kind of a stop so that I can fully concentrate on this. And I roll an 8.
Okay. So you're going to be able to do that. And I think you're gonna have to mark an element to do that. You can pick which one you want to mark. But we'll see that turret that has been firing, trying to block out the troops, kind of shift upwards slowly, but then snaps into that upward position. Does that seem fair?
Yeah. Yes.
Poe, turret seems to be disabled. You're hanging on. This driver is trying to get off, and we can see the bridge and the river coming up.
Well, this whole time, I have been like telling, I pointed out to Ray about the ramp and the vessel and the bridge, right? And I, of course, screamed her name, Ray, because it's not a sequel trilogy without someone screaming Ray's name like that. So, so I think I'm going to try to get on the speeder bike and then help Ray and guide her onto this ramp.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to scream at her, use the force. And then I'm going to tell BB-8, but I'm going to help her too because I don't really trust the force all that much. So
so that feels like overcome.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, and by the way, Steven, if you do a study roll and you succeed, you get to say what's in the truck if you want, which is that's why it's my favorite move. All right, let's do overcome, and I will roll with passion.
Okay,
with fire. A 10, finally.
That is a 10. So he will kind of get flipped upwards, directing this bike, even though this other guy has control of it. And Ray, how does Poe help you? Like, what does Poe do to assist?
I think is is he sorry? Are you trying to like guide the vehicle or what?
Yeah,
your...
I think like you're in the truck and I'm in here, and at some point you're probably like, and I'm like, no, stop fighting me, and I'm like, and I'm guiding you onto the ramp. Yeah.
Since the driver of the truck is unconscious, you can like push it a bit. Even it's bigger and heavier, but you still have some. You can push it a bit since it's just. Yeah. Okay, cool. I think
did we say, because you slammed the brakes, right? Did we say that you were
it is slowing down, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you are in the pilot seat, right?
No.
No.
That was just the force.
Oh, with the force.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're using the force and some begging together.
Yeah.
Get this thing going.
So Ray, let me ask you this. With the situation with this coming up, are you more interested in steering this thing really precisely off, or taking care of the essentially defensive armament on the top of this thing. That's been pushed up by Leia. Which is more important to you right now?
The turret.
Okay.
Because right now she's a bit careless and she's angry and she wants to take out that turret. She doesn't really care about what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that,
then let us have you roll deal with troops.
cool. So I think at this point then it's always fire, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So let me see if there's a move I should pick at this point, because we got 2 of these moves, right?
Yep.
So no, I don't think.
Yeah.
Spontaneously. I'll just roll.
Okay.
We'll see. And finally, the dice don't hate me.
Yay.
So that's a 10.
So tell us what that looks like, because it looks awesome. The guns have been pushed up. There are troops inside this turret bubble. What do we see happen?
Yeah, I think they have been pushed up. Rey rises up into a leap, pulls her lightsaber, ignites it, and it comes down, slicing off like one of these barrels. And then I think she kind of pushes with the force at the same time as she slices at like the base of the tower, enough that with when the truck sort of sways a bit, the tower kind of falls off.
Yeah, it tears off. See it crash off to the side, and I think that's the point at which the vehicle hits that bridge, and we'll see it lift and then come crashing down onto this garbage barge down below, kind of on its side, lands there. The barge kind of shakes as it goes down. Rose, what do we see you doing when that happens?
I think Rose is kind of lost in the firefight
Mm-hmm.
and isn't certain exactly what is going on and needs to try to figure that out.
Okay.
So I think we see her standing there almost looking a little bit useless, and she's going to look around to try to find what's the best thing to do now.
Okay.
Is that a study?
Yeah, that feels like we can do study to ask questions, establish things.
Is there something else that would fit better?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So I pick a stat.
If you were really in turmoil, I'd have you roll inner conflict, but I don't think that's appropriate yet.
No. I think this is curiosity. I want to know what's going on.
Okay.
Let me roll with that. And that's an 11.
That's 11. So you get 2 hold, and you can
Okay.
use that hold to ask questions or make declarations, or if there was somebody on scene you were fighting, we would establish scale.
Okay. So I don't think we have anything about scale. I'll spin 1 hold now and I'll hold the other
Sure.
until a question comes up. And I can make a declaration, is that right?
Yeah.
I think now's the point where we see the that barge hit full throttle, and it's starting slowly, but it kind of picks up out of the water, and we see like these fins that are underneath. So it's trying to pick up speed with this extra load, and it's going much faster than we would have expected.
Okay. Does it feel, when we see that on screen, does it feel like this is something that the rebels have planned, or is this so this is the
Absolutely. So basically, the barge looked like it was just slowly trundling down, and it was a bunch of garbage and everything. But when it goes full throttle, it kind of lifts up, and there's something that's a little bit more sleek about it. It doesn't look like a garbage scow underneath. It picks up and starts heading down that river.
Absolutely. Leia, what are you doing? We'll get the capper with you on this scene here.
Can we say that on that barge, we see Chewbacca piloting?
Perfect. Yeah, behind the wheel of the garbage scow.
All right. So I know that probably well, it's possible that the bad guys have alerted, have sent some kind of distress call.
Oh yeah, there's probably
So-
more people coming.
All right. And I see that the target's on the barge. So I'm gonna, rally, get the soldiers, and we're gonna hightail it out of here
Okay.
and rendezvous wherever we're gonna rendezvous.
Absolutely. And I think we see that the group gathering and heading out. Let's take our first break here. Take 10. You should take 10 for the first break. When we come back, we'll open this truck and see what's going on. All right. So we'll be back. So Cisco, you said you had like an entanglement you kind of wanted to pitch there.
I did.
Okay.
And Dash, what do you think if there has been romance bubbling between you and I, but Leia is absolutely against it?
Yeah, that's interesting.
And then I would ask Rod as well.
Now, let me ask you this: Do you feel like it's a mutual attraction, or do you feel like Poe is sort of infatuated? What kind of?
I'm open to however and Dash wants to play it.
Yeah, I think. I think Rey is too distracted and obsessed with her force training and all that sort of thing. So maybe she hasn't really noticed. Poe's always hanging around, but he's supposed to be the big general and do all the leadership stuff. So that's probably why he's. So yeah.
Do you feel okay with that, Cisco?
Yeah, and Leia, of course, saw it up a jillion miles, 12 parsecs away, right? Yeah. Yeah, that would be great.
Does that work for you, Rod? Are you cool with that?
So I'm trying to discourage Poe.
Yeah, you're a little worried about that, yeah.
All right.
I think maybe, Rod, there's a lot of tension from what happened with General, what was her name? She had pink hair.
Holdo.
Yeah, with General Holdo and that whole thing. And this is Hearts of Wulin too that we're playing, so probably like there's some duty in there, like, right? Duty comes first. Leia's all about duty. I don't know. What do you think about that, Rod?
I think you know what? I don't want to say that I'm against a possible relationship, but maybe after all this is over, like this is not the distraction we need.
Yeah. So let me pitch you that then the tension is like, after all this is over, but Leia, I know you and I know your career, and you will postpone this, right? Indefinitely if it was up to you, right? What do you think about that?
I don't know. Would I stand in the way of that?
Well, I think that's what Poe certainly believes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, doesn't have to necessarily be true, but it's certainly the feeling that you have. So we're going to kind of cut to a scene in another area where we've kind of got like some rebels have set up like a position that kind of covered. The barge is set there, the vehicles on its side. What I want to do before we kind of pop that open is kind of do kind of a go around to see like what's everybody doing and who are they interacting with and so on, to get a little character feel before we move things forward. So what do we see Rey doing in the aftermath of this? How is she feeling? What's the sense there?
So this is after we've gotten away.
Yeah, you're in a safe position now. You've got this here. You're getting ready to open this big vehicle up.
Yeah, so with the way we describe this sort of thing, it flipped over and landed on the barge. I think Ray got dumped in the garbage on the on the barge. So she's, I think she's looking to get cleaned up, basically, or maybe she's just gotten cleaned up is probably better. Yeah. So she's, but she's, I think she's still like seething a bit. She got really angry with how things were going. She let her emotions get the best of her, and she's still in that frame of mind. I think she's almost looking. She's not really looking to pick a fight, but she's still upset.
Leia, when you see that's Ray's state right now, what's your reaction?
So I work on a starship.
Well, I should maybe
or
on planet, but
planet.
you know, you're getting ready to part after you open this up. But in this encampment, you can see Ray pacing. You can feel the vibes off of her.
Oh, I'd say what happened up there? And I'll ask her directly.
I got the job done. What do you mean? What happened?
Yes, you did, but what are your feelings right now?
This is, they're always trying to get me to control my feelings, and that it doesn't work for me. That's the Jedi way. The Jedi are gone now.
Ray, the path you are on is the same path that took my son. If you give in to your feelings, if you let them control you, this rebellion, this resistance, this will be for nothing. Don't you see that?
Oof. I think this is inner conflict.
I think you're going to roll inner conflict.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have Leia roll comfort and support.
Cool. I'm not going to switch the can. It's too much. That's okay. I'm going to roll
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah, that's a 4 on the dice. So that with inner conflict. Oh, right. Yeah, I should. Yeah, it doesn't matter which element I pick. It's a miss anyway.
Yeah, I think you're going to need to mark an element as a result of that.
Yeah.
And I think there is a flash in your mind as that is said, as you kind of concentrate. And for a second, we see the bridge of a Star Destroyer. And we see a figure standing there in silhouette. And then he looks up and out like he's felt something. Leia, let's have you roll comfort support to try and...
I rolled a 7.
So, Ray, you have 2 choices. You can either give Leia a bond with you, or you can clear one of your elements.
Oof. I've already marked 3 elements, so I should probably clear one.
She may not be able to completely help you, but there's a little bit there. So what do you think she helps bring you perspective on?
Yeah, I think I will clear wood. I think her words actually reach me, and it snaps me out of my anger. It's like a cold, yeah, like a cold shower. It kind of, I don't want. I'm not going down that path. I'm just. I've been given the responsibility to create something new, and I have to explore avenues that were closed to you and to Master Skywalker.
I think there's a sigh. If we get that silence hanging there, maybe let me cut away from the two of you. Rose, what do we see you doing in the aftermath of this uh, uh, event?
So I think Rose, comes to where the barge is kind of stopped and everybody's kind of regrouped, and she's, smudged and, has dirt on her face and stuff, but she's going from, troop to troop, trying to make sure, I think a couple of them have cracked out rations. They just kind of, cracked open and the steam formed and they're taking a bite of a hot meal. And she's making sure everybody gets what they need, maybe pulling up a blanket or moving over and saying, oh, we should have the medic look at you. And I think comes up to Ray and sees Ray. I think you said that Ray had cleaned herself off, right? But I think she's probably still wet from the dip in the river to clean herself off. And I think I bring you over a blanket. I think Leia's probably departed at this point, or Rose definitely waits until Leia departs because, give you some privacy to confer, you're the bigwigs. And Rose comes up and kind of puts a blanket around you and maybe, gives you something to dry your hair with, like a small towel. And basically, is there anything you need, sir?
No, I'm fine. Hey, have you seen Finn?
Not since we left the ship. He seemed to be intent on his next mission, but as you know, he always gets into trouble without one of us there to watch out for him, right? So
Yeah, he's yeah, always. I was hoping I could see I would have a chance to see him before he leaves.
well, you'd have to talk to a commanding officer. You could probably say something to him, but I'll let him know if I see him.
Yeah, thank you. I want to note here, I took one of my entanglements or one of my bonds with Finn, and the entanglement as I need Finn to ground me, but Poe keeps sending him off on missions. So to kind of complicate Rose's relationship there.
Nice. And I think at this point, Rose kind of reaches into like a inside pocket of her jacket and pulls out one of those rations and tears it open, and it starts to steam a little bit, and she kind of crunches the bag so it forms like a little bowl and hands it over to you, and says, you need to eat and, build your strength. And that was, you did some hard work out there. So
Thank you. That's really kind of you. And she flashes that smile, and you did good work leading those troops. I think you have greater potential than you believe.
and Rose blushes and kind of, doesn't really even acknowledge it. Yeah.
And so we've established this sort of the first time we've seen Rose and Ray interact on screens. We kind of got that dynamic built, and we know that Finn is off on another mission. Got those facts established. I like that. Let's come to Poe. Poe, what do we see you doing sort of in the aftermath of all of this?
Yeah, so Poe is in a shower, but like with his clothes on, right? Trying to get the trash smell off of him as he's like talking with BB-8 and forlornly looking at Ray, and he's having this conversation with BB-8. When she was talking to Leia, she's like, look at her now. She's probably once again just preaching at her that all there is war, and they're talking about their Jedi mumbo jumbo. And it's like, when was the last time we had R&R? I know you don't need an R&R. You're a droid. You plug in. I'm talking about me right now. This is about me. And I think BB-8 is going to try to like have a conversation about what happened on the roof. But Poe is just like too busy to fix the relationship right now. And I think Poe feels conflicted.
Mm-hmm. Let's have you roll inner conflict.
All right. Was that a flat roll?
You can roll with whatever you want, except for your conflict element.
Okay. Let's roll with water. Awareness, wisdom, flexibility. All right. Let's see if I can be smarter than the average bear here. All right, 7.
So you have a choice. You can either mark water, or you can kind of go off and kind of sit by yourself a little sullenly.
I think we're gonna mark water, and we're gonna talk to Rose. We're gonna face this thing head on.
Okay.
There's just not enough time.
All right.
Leia, you want me to wait? We almost just died out there. We're almost dying every day.
So we see you get cleaned up, and you go over and approach Ray after she and Rose have had a conversation, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think we see BB-8 like making all these beeps and boops, and Poe's like, yeah, and like he opens up his little hatch and takes out the little welding gun, and he's like, look how good I did, and like Poe just walks on by. So we're gonna have to repair that later.
Okay.
But it's time for Ray now.
As you walk up, BB-8's going on, and Rose is about to walk away from Ray as you join, and Rose kind of leans down to BB-8. I know you did really good, and kind of rubs the top of his head, and the two of them head off while you go to talk to Ray.
I want to take a pause there and like, so what's the tea on Rose and Finn? Like, you guys have romantic, because it says here, Ray's camaraderie with Finn may impact my budding romantic interest in Finn. So is there just like tension between the three of you? Is that what's happening?
So from my perspective, from Rose's perspective, I think Rose has this interest in Finn, and there might be something there. But she sees Finn and Ray together all the time, and they're close buds, and she's like not quite sure how to reach out there. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
and nobody could be explicit about these things. So
yeah.
Perfect.
And Ray and Finn, that's completely platonic, at least from Ray's side. They're really good friends, and he helps her. He helps her stay keep her feet on the ground. But
Okay. Okay. So I think Poe is gonna approach Ray, and it's gonna be like that awkward, like he got too close, and like right as she turned, and now they're like too close, and now he backs up, and now he looks down, and he's wet, and now he has no words to say, and there's just like that moment.
Commander, General, I don't know what's your title these days.
Oh, Ray, you know that I've been demoted, but it's no big deal. Inside,
Again?
it's totally a big deal. Well, I don't know that I've been promoted again. I think maybe I'm working toward that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but like with Ray, I like play it cool. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like it's no big deal. But like inside, I'm like, but yeah, yeah, Ray, that was impressive.
It was a team effort. Everyone did their part.
You I think you took the worst for the wear.
It's just a little burn. We've all had worse.
I think I see a medkit nearby, and I think we're going to try to apply some Bacta in a Monster Hearts kind of way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is comfort and support.
Indeed. I'd like to take another move.
Okay.
I would like to steal Chewbacca's move.
Okay. What move is that?
When you comfort and support on a hit, you may both create a bond and clear an element from your target.
That's nice.
Okay. All right. I'll copy and paste that here in a minute. And I roll. Do I roll with an element?
You roll with an element. The only element you can't roll with. Oh no, you can roll with anything on this one.
Okay. Cool. We will roll with Pasión. That makes sense. 8.
Okay, so that's a hit. So Ray, you can clear an element. And Poe, you can take a bond with Ray.
Ooh. Yeah, clear water. I think with all this attention, she's not feeling isolated anymore. She's back in the yeah.
So let's does that feel like that's complete there for you, Cisco?
I'm gonna
Sure.
pose an interesting conundrum here in the scene, and then we can end it.
Sure.
I think after this moment of tension clearly to the audience, I think Poe's gonna offer his jacket. That's a thing he does apparently, is give his jackets away, and so he's gonna offer his jackets, and I think he's gonna say, I have a proposal for you, because I think we need some R&R, and then we'll end it right there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think can I just jump
Yeah.
in? Maybe I don't know if it's right before that, right after Ray asks if Poe knows where Finn is.
I think right after is apropos, and then I think we get a shot of the camera of like him going like, she still doesn't get it. Okay.
So we will get that set piece after this. That people gather around and see this enormous vehicle, and the rebellion people have been working on getting the locks and whatnot open on the back, and they will throw open the back doors of this. So here is the question I'm going to pose now. Let's start with Rod. Rod, who and or what is in the back of this truck. And this is one where you can kind of poll the table if you want to suggest. It can be multiple people, it can be a person, it can be stuff, it can be stuff and a person.
I mean, my first thought was Lando.
Okay.
But I will, yeah, I'd like to poll and see if anyone has
Let's get
any
some
strong-
ideas on the table. Andish.
Yeah, just as a reaction to that, or
Yeah. Any thoughts? Let's pull the table, get some ideas on the table, and then we'll figure out what we think is the most interesting path or combination of paths to go with here.
I think getting Lando in there is fun. I keep thinking that, like, episode 7 and the official episode 9 both are kind of map quests. We're trying to find something to tell us where to go. I'm not sure if we should lean into that or if we should have it be something different. Maybe Lando is there and he knows something about some place we need to get to do something. He knows the way there. He's the only one who can fly there. Something like that.
Okay, so we still got Lando place. Any other ideas, Stephen?
So the first thought I had was I was looking at the NPCs and places tab, or the NPCs tab, and I saw Maz Katana's on there. And whenever Rod mentioned Londo, I think there's a group of scoundrels back there. And like Anders was saying, there's some information that they have. And I think they've been picked up by the First Order because they have some information, but they're believed to be rebel sympathizers. So I think the First Order might want to lean on them to say, you give us the information rather than, you give that rebellion, the resistance.
Cisco, are you good with that? Do you want to add on to this? Are there other scoundrels that you want to throw into the mix? Or
Yeah, why not? I'm gonna go super wild, and I'm gonna go with the teenage Grogu. And Lowell, you don't have to have watched The Mandalorian. Just
okay,
imagine Yoda in like teenage, maybe 9-year-old, 10-year-old.
Okay.
And I also really like DJ, who was the scoundrel from episode 8, who
Okay.
sold him out.
Is that good with everybody? Kind of a like we see that come open, and I imagine that the one who is most styling that comes out first is Lando, who will brush himself off before he heads over to Leia, and then we see a group. We probably see like an IG-88 droid, bounty hunter style. We see Maz. We see Grogu, our slightly grown up Yoda, still incredibly tiny, but there, and DJ trying to like fly casual at the back of this. Leia, what's your reaction?
Yeah, I will say to Lando, you're still looking lovely as ever. And I'll say, with a wry smile.
And he's this is not who I was expecting to see, but this is the best that I could have hoped for. And we'll kind of step over close to, you're both a little bit older, a little bit wiser. He's looking around, see him do that thing where he gazes around and realizes how young everyone else is. And maybe straightens himself up a little. Adish, what's your reaction to this group?
I think she's completely focused on Grogu because she can sense enough that she can feel that he's strong in the Force.
In that way that I mean, and still impulsive and a kid, and so probably the first time you've met someone who is a Force user who is like your junior, right?
Yeah, that's true. Kind of in some ways.
And what about Rose? What was he Rose doing?
So I think she, she was expecting weapons or something really exciting, and the doors open, and these scumbags walk out, right?
Including DJ.
And you can see she's like a little bit, you know, surprised and let down. You can just see it, all these emotions run across her face. And then she sees the familiarity between General Leia and one of the scoundrels, and she's like kind of a little confused, and then like, oh, and she starts, taking some of the supplies that they have, and making sure that they're all kind of uh they're okay. They probably got bounced around a little bit, okay, a lot inside the transport, and she's making sure that we can try and get the shackles off of them. She calls over to BB-8, and he pulls out his little welder to get some of the shackles that they have off and things like that. Yeah.
And I think there'll be that bit where DJ kind of slides over to where you're at as you're kind of checking things out. And, so how are you doing? There are no hard
Maybe
feelings, right?
maybe a little bit better off than the last time that we dealt with each other, but we'll see what
Business is business.
we'll see what you can do for us before we decide if there's any hard feelings.
I think I can help you out. I think I can. And certainly I need to get off of this hunk of rock. So we can make a deal.
I think she looks around and she says, "You better have been worth the cost."
And Poe, what's your reaction to all of this?
I think Poe and Lando Calrissian know each other from both being maybe having business crossed at some point.
Commander Dameron.
Yeah, I think he maybe mispronounces Dameron. Maybe it's Dameron or something.
Dameron, Commander Dameron.
Lando, old buddy. I think he brings him in for a hug. And I think I'm gonna pitch you that Lando, knowing, being Lando, he is the perfect person for me to pull off like a good R&R escapade that can maybe also look like a mission.
And do you see that kind of chatting? Goes, I can put a word in the right ear. Absolutely. There's some places that we need to go that might fit in with your agenda.
Haven't lost your touch, you old scoundrel.
Never will. And Leia, is there anything else in this truck, or is there anybody who besides Lando who are you interacting with? Like which way do you want to lean with that?
Oh, when Lando goes off to speak with Poe, I agreed. I would probably greet Maz next. She's a little shorter, so she was behind some people. I didn't see her. And once I greet her, she goes, and we see she was actually in front of Grogu, who I didn't see also. And then my eyes just go kind of wide, and I kind of go down to one knee to speak with them both. Because I'm gonna say that I've met Grogu when Luke trained him, but that was a long time ago, and I actually thought he had died.
And Maz will nod and say, "This must be quite a surprise for you."
it's a surprise that I prefer to the first order kind. And I guess I'm gonna try to talk telepathically with Grogu and just, I guess the audience doesn't hear it, but
You
there's
get
a
that
reaction.
impression?
Yeah.
Maz will say, the Force brings those who need to come together.
Leia gets a curious look at that, as if Maz knew something that Leia was keeping secret. And I'll just nod.
And we will see Lando turn to the group and say, I think I know why you broke us out. And I know where you have to go next. And that's what we're going to take up next time. So let me tell you what that's going to mean. We're going to talk next time at the start. We're going to look at the themes, and we're going to figure out, I'll put some things on the table about where this journey takes us. Like, what's the next step? And we'll figure that out. We'll do some flashes to our villains at the start as well to get them on the stage and kind of frame up where the story goes. Does that seem cool with everybody? Okay.
Lola, I have an idea for Finn's mission. Should I save that for next week, or?
Oh no, let's put that on the table, just so I can think about it. We can do some flashing to that.
I think that I would have sent him to retrieve information on all the new class of stormtroopers that were taken, that were abducted. Maybe the First Order kind of puts this as low priority information, but I want to get all their, like where they were stolen from, their family, what planets they came from. And then once I get that, it's going out on every signal. And hopefully there's going to be people like Finn. First Order has been destroying planets left and right. So let some of the stormtroopers know maybe they just destroyed their home.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So we'll do a little cut scene next time of Finn getting that information and a daring escape and heading back to you. Sound good? I would like to do just a quick stars and wishes here at the end. This is kind of a truncated session, but I do want to go over that. And stars being things that you dug, especially, and wishes being things you definitely want to see event or character wise as we go along. I'll go in character keeper order again. I usually do that. Next time I'll shift it over one so that Ondish isn't always having to start every go round. But let me start with you, Ray. What stars, wishes, thoughts?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I was actually a bit hesitant because I always feel a bit uncomfortable playing canon characters.
Mm-hmm.
But this was amazing. It was really good, and I really enjoy playing Rey. I think everyone's doing a great job portraying the characters, including you with the NPCs. Particular things, post interaction. I mean, Cisco, you with BB-8, that was just fantastic, bringing him in and carrying that both sides of that dialogue and doing it very smooth, very nice. I really enjoyed that. Rose being still a bit nervous and cautious. I like that. And Leia trying to guide us young guns, be the more experienced voice of reason and wisdom as we tear off in various directions. I enjoyed that, and I really like the setup in general. I think this is it's an interesting divergence point, I guess, to skip off from canon, because it's left very open at the end of episode 8 what's going to happen next. Yeah.
Awesome. Anything wishes wise that you definitely want to see for next time?
No, I don't think so.
It's a
Beat
fair
up
answer.
on some stormtroopers at some
Okay.
point, but I assume that's coming. So.
Stormtroopers. Okay, we can do that. Rose.
I'll start with wishes, and it's something that I struggle with. As far as wishes, maybe I'll come back to that. I'm struggling
Okay.
with anything that's really good. As far as roses, I really like the setup for the scenario. I like I really like the way that you've taken and hacked Hearts of Wulin into Star Wars. It fits really well. A lot of the moves are very evocatively named. To me, it looks like you've done a lot of work. I don't know the original Hearts of Wulin moves well enough to indicate how many of those you had to change or anything like that, but it looks really good.
Oh, good.
I'm really impressed with how everyone played their character. I really thought, General Leia coming in and saying, no, I need boots on the ground. This is the right place for me. And then directing people. I thought all of that looked really good, on screen for me. Rey and Poe doing exactly what they do best. And, in the action, looking cool, but maybe rolling with the punches of what happened. It all felt very much like Star Wars. So it was very good.
Awesome. Then we come to Poe.
Okay. I'll do stars. And Dash and Rod, thank you for going with the love tension suggestion. Really good yes-anding there, and all of us building on that. Really appreciate that. I'm really excited for that, actually, because that's where Hearts of Wulin shines. Steven, love the way you play Rose and like supporting and giving snacks, making sure everyone was getting taken care of. Like that's definitely like very Rose. So kudos on that. Lowell, that first action scene felt really, really, really Star Wars. And I
Oh,
didn't
good.
know. Yeah. So great job porting this over. And your voices are really good. Like they're not impressions, but your voices are good. Like I know DJ is talking and I know Lando is talking and I know, yeah, that was great affect. A few wishes.
Mhm.
I want a scene with Rose, and then Steven, maybe we can both think about how we can create a triangle, because Finn is like my space bromance, like he's my best bud. So like, how are you and I connected so that like I'm trying to angle him? Maybe like you and I have talked about me trying to woo Rey to give you comfort that then she's not with Finn, and maybe we have that going. But it's something that we can establish next week if you want to think about it. But I do want more scenes with Rose, and I want a scene with Finn to talk about Rose. And then I'm gonna say that I'm really hoping Teenage Grogu is gonna be like a big part of the thing. Like once I
Okay.
saw the picture that Steven sent, I was like, that is awesome. I want to picture that in my mind all the time. And maybe like the rebuilding of the Order with Grogu, because it sounds like Rey's trying to be a Grey Jedi. He was trained under Ahsoka, who's trying to go that Grey Jedi way. Maybe there's some connection there. So thanks for letting me share.
Awesome. And Rod.
Yeah, I think everyone hit a lot of the stars that I came to mind. The playing on point of their characters, not just what they're not just their dialogue and their actions, but also just the feeling that they invoke. Rose's caretaking, Rey's passion. Poe with BB-8 and that
Mhm.
that whole dynamic was awesome. The NPCs, Lola, I second, third, fourth, or repeat that. That they feel very on point. I love that. That there is this romantic aspect. I wasn't sure how that was going to pan out, but it's looking to shape up nicely. Yeah, I would love to see a training session with Grogu, or at least a scene with Grogu and Rey.
Oh, good call.
Between I'd love to see what they can teach each other. I guess I won't hide the ball. I'm thinking Leia is gonna try to have a meeting with her son.
Okay.
Preferably one-on-one. But I think at some point she is gonna go to him or have him come to her. And I have ideas about that, but
Interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. That's absolutely one to put on the table. That we will work towards that. Thank you all very much, Steve. Or you were
I
going to say
thought
something?
so. Yeah, I was trying to think of a wish, and I would appreciate some help. I feel like Rose, especially in episode 9, didn't get the development that she deserved as a character, and it's one of the things I wanted to kind of bring to this. So over the next couple of sessions, I'd kind of like to show some growth or some development of that character. So if I slide back into the normal, this is all we've seen of Rose, if you don't mind, push me a little bit more to, or say, hey, we need to see some growth here. Let's see which direction this goes.
I think that's perfect. I think it's good to set that up, that place that she's at in session 1, so that we can see the session 2 and 3 for her take charge. Awesome. This was a delight for me. Super fun. I enjoy everybody's characters. It's a great combo that we've chosen, and I love how you're all playing it. So super fun for me. I am going to stop the recording.